Yeah, peace. If we live, I know it's a lot of people watching. I'm not going to just have y'all sitting here looking at
Thank you,
dead
Mo.
air.
Thank
It's
you, Mo.
Timeless Thomas, the professional. It's Timeless Thomas, your Earth Angel. I'm right here on Moor Culture Podcast. I asked a lot of y'all to tune in. We're going to discuss major topics together today. We're going to discuss things that will definitely grow you. If you're on a journey to become the best version of yourself, you want to start with scholars that's in the room. You want to start with people that you have access to. And right now, you're tapped in. This is not by coincidence. This is an alignment, and we're going to turn this alignment into an assignment. So what I'm going to ask anyone to do who's watching, please, first of all, tell a friend, to tell another friend, to tell another friend to tune in. We're about to go turkey ham, and you don't want to miss what is right here for you. That's right. And we're at the Moor Cultural Center. What is it, 17 North King Street? We're broadcasting live from Wilmington, podcasting live from Wilmington, Facebook, Instagram, all up. We're streaming also as well. And I ask anyone again to share. This is how we can get this information out. Each one, teach one, each one, reach one, each one, push the share button. Like, subscribe. And these are ways that we can support each other that are F-R-E-E. That's right. I'm not asking you to go outside of your budget.
Islam. Thomas, thank you so much for helping me with the introduction. Before we go too far, so I make sure I greet everybody with whatever greeting they would like. Islam, peace, assalamu alaikum, rahu bat, alafiyah, ayonio. There's plenty of greetings. Shalom. Thomas, any greetings you have for the people?
Islam, Mo.
Islam. So this is episode 8 of the Moor Culture Podcast, Build or Destroy in Supreme Mathematics. Beautiful demonstration we're going to have for this, because we're going to talk about destroying bad habits, building good habits, because we're trying to keep the Mo's out of jail. Nobody needs to be there. It's a horrible, corrupt even, and system that we don't want to really be a part of, but we got to deal with it. So we got some Mo's here, Thomas here. We have Quinnell, not on camera yet, but he's going to hop on because he's dealt with this system. Brother Sharif has dealt with this system. I've dealt with it with my family, not personally. I have not been incarcerated, but I'm here to learn. I want to know how we can get this knowledge to the Mo's out there, so we can, nip it in the butt, at the root. So go ahead, Brother Sharif, what you got?
It was like, I come from a family of 10, and hunting the so-called black boys that we say I'm black young Moorish young brothers. At that time, was coming up was like rabbit hunting season.
Wow.
Most of the people that came up with me, a lot of them got life in prison, and some of them didn't make it. Putting these drugs in the community and stuff was a psychological attack. It took a lot of us out, so we got to get on point. And I thank Allah for this brother, his zeal, because our community really need help. They're your children. That's royalty. The whole world is jealous of your children.
Excuse me.
So Thomas, the book's wonderfully written. 101 Things You Should Know About Jail. How did you get to this point? Like, what made you write the book, and then tell me the purpose of it. What do you really want to accomplish with the book?
Into the book. The attack is on, before you can send the black man to jail, before you can scrutinize and attack the black man, you first start with the child. So we are attacked from the womb. And so this is part of the reason that refinement is so hard. This is part of the reason why reform is so hard and rehab is so hard. We try to treat the adult when if we're going to do prevention, if we're going to prevent the school to prison pipeline, if we're going to do prevention and we're going to redirect individuals that have been distracted, we got to start at the beginning. And so I think that's important to know, that before the black man is under attack, he is first, or she is first under attack as a black child. Islam.
So, so yeah. Now getting into the book. I mean, so tell me about your journey. Like, what brought you to that, up to writing it? Like, did you write it like while you're in jail? Was it afterwards? Please tell me about the background.
So the book, right? And it's a very popular book, and it's actually grown a life form of its own. I'm going to say it grew into that. I first wrote the book, 101 Things You Should Know About Jail. with a bonus chapter of 50 questions that you can ask that you should ask people returning from prison. The bonus chapter book, you can get it anywhere where they sell books. It's in all formats. It's an audio book. You can get it on Audible. It's a Kindle for all my millennials that must read some type of digital device. And then you can get it here at Moor Culture Center, 715 North King Street, right here in Wilmington, Delaware. You can get it from me when you see me. I keep it on me all the time. But so the book's available. But I wrote the book initially when I was in that physical bondage. I was locked up upstate Pennsylvania for making some intentional bad decisions, and I wrote the book. So I originally wrote it as a get back. I wrote it being bitter. I said, well, the system, they pulled so much blood, sweat, and tears and years from my life. And I knew at the particular time I wasn't educated enough to buy any stock in their commissary or build my own private prison or anything like that. But I did want a piece of that money that was flowing through there. So I said, if I write a book about jail, I'll always be able to move it. I can always sell the book. It'll be a good trading and bartering. It will become a currency because jail is a culture in the United States. Every single American has a jail story. I don't care whether it's through junk media, social media, video games, lived experience. I mean, even our current standing president went to jail, and it can happen. So I wrote the book not just because anybody could go to jail. One false accusal, one mistake, one officer having a bad day, one brand new rookie officer 1 week on the job, he pulls you over, one misunderstanding, or maybe really you might have really did something, right? But I tell people, that's obvious. We know that can get you in jail. But what I want you to know is your very first cellmate could have 17 years all push-ups. That changes the dynamic. You were just supposed to be home for dinner. Now you're caged with a savage beast, and it's real. And it's real. You're there. And right. And so if I get the book in the hands of the people before they ever go to jail, it will be prevention. If I get the book in the hands of the people while they're in the process, it will be reflection. And if I get the book in the hands of the people when they come home, it becomes a complete alchemist of whether you become an ex-offender or a returning citizen. So there's a big difference in that polarity. But anyway, the bonus chapter, which we like to call the reentry chapter, 50 questions you should ask anyone returning from prison. A newsy person doesn't even ask you 50 questions. And it's a vetting chapter because, they legalized marijuana, alcohol's legal, cigarettes are legal. All of these things that are contrary to growth are legal.
Gender reassignment.
The whole shebang. So all that stuff is legal. So we need to be able to vet who is going to be coming home. And so the bonus chapter is a really good reentry chapter, too. A lot of times when I speak this book at women's groups, at domestic violence groups, they agree that the bonus chapter alone is worth the price of the book. But anyway, moving forward, and that's why I wrote the book, and that's why I made it accessible to every American. At this point, it's about, getting the information in the hands of people who need it, which is every American. And even the cover, you don't even got to read it. It's a big, bright, bold cover, and it just needs to be seeing this on you out the door every day. It just give you a chance to think twice and move once, because a lot of people are moving off their first thoughts, which are usually emotional. And by then it's too late. You don't get a chance to pull back. Once you do it, once you born it, it's in the air. Yeah. And so while we're on the build and destroy episode, we have to destroy the old if we're going to build the new. You don't build a new foundation on top of an old foundation.
You don't. You're going to raise your hand, Mo? What's up?
Islam, Mo.
Well, I'd like to, talk about a little bit about my transition, from rehabilitating from up out of the prison. And I just didn't want to be there no more. And I knew it was a trap. I knew it was slavery. So I started focusing on school. Mm-hmm. And so I was just in the conversation with the brother, was talking about existential therapy and about the here and now. And we're going to focus on the here and now. But what happens when you come up out of prison and you got all these professors and these teachers teaching you, so forth, so you have to learn how to adapt, and it is not easy. You have a lot of knowledge, and so that's what I said. It come from the heart.
So you're saying like when you're in jail and you get a lot of knowledge, while you're in jail and then getting out, the reentry
No,
process is difficult. 'Cause
I'm a psychology major, and one of my deepest therapy that I learned is called free association, where the therapist encourages the client to say whatever comes to mind, no matter how painful it may be. And then you have what you call a talk it to cure. And a lot of times, I think that's good because we got to talk about what we've been through. We have to vent because we've been through so much pain. And I feel honored that Joe would accept me, that I can talk to you brothers, because I can't talk to everybody. You got a culture out there that's banging, shooting, drugging, involved. Then you got some educated people think they better than everybody with superior perceptive reality, think my values are better than yours. And then you got people like us. So it's a lot that we have to focus on. All praises to Allah, cherish and sustain the world, because they're different worlds.
So, if you don't mind, I'd like to touch and highlight something that you just said, which was, once you learned more information, you began to rehabilitate yourself and things of that nature, which, again, I'm very particular about diagnoses, and I'm very particular about narratives, because a lot of that stuff is directly connected to the matrix. It is impossible, and I'm going to go on record saying this, so document this. It is impossible to rehabilitate yourself in prison. It's impossible, because the root word is habitat. So if you're not in your habitat, you can't rehabitat yourself in a place that's not even your habitat. Rehabilitation doesn't start till day one on the streets, which the bonus chapter is very good for. 50 questions you should ask anyone returning from prison. So as long as they can sell you that matrix, we'll keep biting and falling and feeding into recidivism from now till forever. Because now you can reform yourself. You can definitely reform and reshape yourself and refine yourself. You can do all that stuff. But what has to happen in order to grow, you got to let go. We have to unlearn. We have to intentionally unlearn the things that don't service us. Remember, I think I was talking to you guys off camera last week. The two most important days of your life are the day you were born and the day you discover your purpose. Mm-hmm. A lot of people will die without ever even knowing who they were. They will die in somebody else's purpose. They will die as a follower, when each individual is a one of one. God only made one of you. You're a one of one. So until you discover your purpose, you're not going to really get the best that life has for you. Now, once you discover in your purpose, you can make all decisions. We're talking about at adult level now. You can make all decisions that align with your goals, that align with your purpose. And that's when you really start attracting that refinement that I think we're looking for in the community, because it's not something that you could do or teach. It's a lifestyle that you have to live, so that those that are looking and following can emulate what purpose looks like, what growth looks like, what refinement looks like. I don't think you can teach it. I think it's something you have to do. Mm-hmm. And then those that are on your spiritual caseload can kind of, follow your leadership in that way. Yeah. Now, I want to do a disclaimer. My views, opinions, and thoughts do not reflect the Moorish Culture Center nor Moorish Science. And the things that I talk about and speak about were researched at the Timeless Thomas Academy, which I'm an acute student of human behavior, and I'm also a psychologist. But I just want to put that disclaimer out there so that I don't offend anybody with my hard and brutal truths.
We need it, brother. We need it. Even though you don't reflect, you're part of the center right now, Mo. You're here. Your product is here. We support you. We have your back. So, your views might not be necessarily our views, but we support you, straight up. So
I appreciate that.
Please give your honest truth. And we need that. We need perspectives from everybody. This is a cipher. Everybody has a different perspective. We need multiple perspectives for all these topics.
And that's my thing, psychology.
Well,
I mean, psychology, I do that all day long. I love it. It broadens my horizons.
So I want to talk about kind of what you're doing now, because I know you're part of a rehabilitation program, right?
I am.
Yeah. So we talked about you can't do it in jail, so you're helping brothers that are outside of the system now.
For sure.
Please talk about how you're doing the rehabilitation. How do you play a role and your thoughts?
So I play a role in the community, again, as a refined individual who is now leading, but it's I'm under the Harriet Tubman Act. Like Harriet, she found a way out, but she didn't run by herself. She went back and got more people. I found a way, and so I went back and got more people. Now I got some really good support out there. I came up under OP Productions. He keeps me real busy with social things, and then I also interned under the great historian Dr. Harmon Carey, who provided platforms for me and reminded me what a black leader in the community should do and my responsibilities there. But as it would pertain to reentry, I'm a member of a few organizations, the Home Team Chosen Ones. That's a group of returning citizens that refuse to leave behind the carnage and the mistakes and the bad decisions that are still, unfortunately, in the system. And that's how I think I got on you guys' radar when you guys saw me at Legislation Hall fighting the power. But one of the main things I'm doing today under the mentorship of my big brother, Pastor Larry Mathis, and I also I'm a member of CTAC, which is Churches Take a Corner, under the leadership of Pastor Bumpy Johnson. But the work I'm doing in the community is with Team. Together, Everyone Achieves More, which is the only black mental health and substance abuse clinic. And so I meet the people right where they're at. And I do a empowerment workshop on Wednesdays at 11 a.m. And that's right there at 15th and Walnut. We got a pretty big caseload of what I like to call superheroes. Because, you know, when you see people that have been through the war, because that's another thing real quick before I get on what I'm doing there. I move with a military mind. I'm the son of a real soldier. My father was in the Korean War. My brother got killed in the Army. I have a warrior mentality and I have a soldier mentality. I have a strategic mentality. I don't have a civilian mind. So I got zero tolerance for everything that's not leveled up. But anyway, what I do at Team is I do an empowerment group on Wednesdays through judgmental eyes. It could look like those people are very, very distracted and those people are eyesores in the community, whatever. But I don't see that. I see just what the hierarchy sees. I document who has survived every distraction. You know, there's people that are creating programs and creating chemical warfares and waiting to launch and lodge them into the community in laboratories, and they're in big, big groups and secret societies. And then they're also documenting, they're saying, look, these are the survivors. They survived the drug war. They survived COVID. They survived fentanyl. They survived. And so I like to sit in the room with those survivors and just remind them that we are not just superior melanated beings, but we are, you know, we are every reason to distract. And so I've survived 100% of my worst days. My caseload down at Team has survived 100% of our worst days. And we're not participating in the matrix. We're not participating in anyone else's narrative. We're operating in frequency. The universe does not speak English. Let's just be clear about that. We're operating in frequency, and that's what it is. You know what I mean? Certain people I reach by telepathy. There's nothing conventional about Timeless Thomas. I don't conform to the Gregorian calendar, the Mayan calendar. There's no such thing as time. The time is right now. The past is gone. The future's not here yet. We're in the now. We're in the now. And so that's the timeless version of me. So y'all can go ahead and take that mic back, and we'll pass it around a little bit, and then we'll get into the inside of the book. No, add on, good brother.
Past is history, present reality, future's a mystery.
Yeah, that's a way to say it. But another way to understand it, over and understand it, is people are distracted by that. You got people that are actually in a full blown depression about what's already happened. Right. It's gone. Leave it. Like, in order to grow, you got to let go. You can't get where you're going by bringing any of the baggage that you don't need from the past. It's like when people move from one house to another. You see this big pile of junk on the curb that they're not taking with them. Mm-hmm. You got to leave your emotional baggage behind you, too, because we're functioning in trauma, and a lot of that stuff we can just let go of. Mm-hmm. What are you still holding on to things that aren't servicing you for? But people do it. And then there's people that function in anxiety. and you're so fearful and worried about the future, it ain't even here yet. It didn't even happen yet, but people worry themselves all the way into a diagnosis. You know what I mean? And then, they're going to definitely be fully inclusive in the chemical warfare because you're going to get prescribed something.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Somebody's going to want you to calm down a little bit and give you a little something to give you a chill pill. And, and so I'm not looking for I don't chase to give this knowledge out. I'm only looking to attract. I don't chase the butterfly. I plant the garden. The butterflies come to me. I only attract. I don't chase because anything you're chasing is running from you anyway. So I don't chase. I attract. And I'm not looking to save anybody. I save myself, and I'm just looking to show you how I save myself so you can save yourself because our backstories are different. You can't use my formula. This is why there's no one-size-fits-all book. There's no one way. Nah. We're individuals. So only thing you got to do is a self-inventory and find out the parts of your character don't align with your goals. And then he got to do his and she got to do hers. And that way you can get to where you're going. We might not even be going to the same place. But in order to get to the best version of yourself, you have to do away with all the distractions. You know what I mean? And it takes unlearning. It takes unlearning. People are so anxious to learn more stuff. If we're building and destroying, you got to destroy the old stuff. You got to unlearn the old stuff and make room for the new stuff. Now, my brain's recently been tested at the University of Pennsylvania. I'm operating at 65%. The average person is operating at 8%. And that is where the discrepancy is. I walk right in the room. I'm seeing you, you know what I mean? No disrespect to the carnivores, but I'm seeing you, you know what I mean, eat a red meat sandwich. I already know you ain't healing. It's nowhere on your radar. You are what you eat. You're already starting off wrong, so I already know it's a limited amount of things that we could talk about. I deal with people how they show up for themselves. I deal with you according to how healed you are. It ain't personal. How you show up is how I'm going to deal with you, and that's period, especially at adult level. Now, when I go to the juvie centers, I just got an award from Delaware Center for Justice because I go to the juvenile jails and the juvenile centers and I speak to the youth and stuff. And they wonder, they're dazzled by my methods. They're dazzled by my way. And it's because I've been in those spaces before, so I don't necessarily meet them where they're at. I know where they're at because I am them. And so it's easy for me to help love and heal and mentor on the youth because I don't give them my story. I give them the reality that happens if you don't get redirected. Mm-hmm. When your mind's underdeveloped, there's still hope for redirection.
So that's a question I'm about to ask about the children. I want to really get like what's your number one thing you go to when it comes to children. But first, I want to after I ask that question, I'm going to bring Brother Quinnell on. To give his reflections and ask a couple questions. But first, something you said that made me think about something I said in the last episode was in terms of deprogramming, and uninstalling programs and equating us to computers. And it's like we can't keep installing new software on the computers. We got to delete something before we can add new. And on top of that, we are programs. We all have programs that we're operating under. And something we talked about before was like brainwashing and how it's such a bad term. It's used badly, but it's like in reality we need to be brainwashed.
You do ritual and doing for the brainwashing.
You have to wash the brain. No different than washing washing any other part of your body. You have to go do some kind of cleansing, kind of washing.
Ain't we children of the sun? The sun loves us.
Islam.
Who does the sun hate?
So Islam, watch out! Don't sound like our video deleted. But
well,
but I want to know about. Okay, man, you had a thought. Go ahead.
Well, no, I don't want to cut the OG's wisdom short because his points are valid too. We can't see people don't bite their tongue when they lie, so we shouldn't bite our tongue when we tell them the truth, and that's period. You know what I mean? So if you were going to say who the sun hated, I mean, if that's what you want to put it to the air, somebody might catch it. Who do you think the sun hates?
Those who catch skin cancer.
Okay, there you go. So that's all it is. So that's basically where I'm at. Then you said you had a question.
Yeah. So about the children, when it comes to a child you're speaking to, that's especially that the higher teen age, coming into adulthood, when they're clearly steering in the wrong direction. What's your advice to them to try to keep them out of jail? Like, what's your advice?
My advice to all of my youth in my dismount, like the takeaway I like them to have before I leave the session. I always like to let them know it's okay wherever you're at, but you have to learn more. That's the secret weapon. Wherever you're at, whatever you're thinking is fine. That's where you're at. But in order to grow, you have to learn more. And it's very simple. I simplify things. That's very, very simple. So and I think that really hits home with them. And that's like one of my, this is a podcast. A lot of people are going to probably steal that, and that's good. You know what I mean? It's information. I just want to give it away. They got to learn more. I remember I had this one kid. It's always one, right, that bucks in the class, and he's like, he kept it real, man. He was like, well, look, I ain't going to hold you, man. When I come home, all I know, I'm going to get back in the game. My boys in the streets, we're going to do the whoop-de-doo. And I'm looking at him, and I'm seeing myself, it's really one conscious. We're all the same, right? And I'm seeing myself in him, right? Remember when I had that saying, that's the only way to break that code. And he understood it. He understood because nobody never gave it to him simple. People are always coming with this big, grandiose stuff. Nah, it's pretty plain. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's pretty plain. If you do what you always did, I mean, you can only expect to get what you always got. And that's period. Exactly. So, yeah.
Quinn, I'm going to hop on real quick. Please, give your thoughts once again. Being that this brother dealt with the system, I want to hear his thoughts on this topic.
Islam, Mo.
Live and direct. First and foremost, I just want to say, gratitude, brother, for coming today. Appreciate you sharing your wisdom. Like yourself, I also was incarcerated, just like the brother Sharif was incarcerated. I think the topics that you bringing up in the book pertaining to the questions, I think is very important because you got a lot of the youth that don't understand the politics inside Islam. And to have a book that gives you clear understanding with the questions about the politics, I think that's very important. I think that's key.
Well, first, and thank you guys for having me too. And it's an honor for me to be right here in such a culturally correct establishment. So my thing is, yeah, the book is definitely a tool. It's a tool. And me being who are headed down the wrong path or who are self-destructing, we need youth ambassadors. Even me at my greatest level, I'm operating at my highest frequency. There's still some that I won't be able to touch because to them I still look like a Flintstone. No matter how cool I think I am, to them I look like a Flintstone. They're Jetsons. Now there are some people that I look like a Jetson and they're the Flintstone. But to certain youth, you introduce it. We need more youth ambassadors. Now, I want to also correct a misnomer and a narrative that's been induced into our community. Like somebody put this narrative out there to say that the youth are killing each other and the gun violence is bad. That is untrue. So Wilmington has 70,000 people, right? And we're just talking about Wilmington, Delaware. Shout out to the whole rest of the globe that's watching, but right now we're in Wilmington, Delaware, right? Wilmington, Delaware has 70,000 people, right? So now I don't care if 10 youth killed each other last night. It would be very unfortunate. That would be 10 families that's impacted and everybody connected to them. It would be a sad massacre. It would be awful, right? But that is only 10 people. And so what about the other 69,990 people that never experienced any violence that day? When we're putting it on a scale, when we're doing the numbers, because numbers can't lie, it's not even a conversation. It would be equivalent to having $70,000 and you lost $10.